Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Untitled Reviews. This time around we're going to be taking a look at Razer's DeathAdder V2 gaming mouse. This is the newest and most powerful revision of their highly popular and best-selling DeathAdder line. Now the DeathAdder V2 one-ups the popular DeathAdder Elite, ditching the 16,000 dpi 5G sensor with the 20,000 dpi Focus Plus. And at a price of $69.99 slots quite well within the competition. On the front of the box, we find a large picture of the DeathAdder V2 complete with Razer logo and, I suppose, some key selling features. Its best-in-class ergonomic shape, Razer's optical mouse switches and SpeedFlex cable. And on the back of the box, we find a little bit more detail about the DeathAdder V2, featuring 8 programmable buttons, its best-in-class ergonomic shape that it's renowned for these days, 5 onboard memory profiles that are switchable from a little button on the bottom of the mouse, the Focus Plus 20,000 dpi optical sensor, SpeedFlex cable, and Razer's optical mouse switches. So, in the box for the DeathAdder V2, we find the DeathAdder V2 itself, complete with instruction manual and Razer stickers. In terms of design, there's really nothing quite like the DeathAdder V2. Now, these hard plastics are to be expected on such a timeless mouse, and with over 10 million of them sold, it's hard to argue with a practically perfectly comfortable ergonomic shape. Now, there are some rubberized side grips on the right-hand side of this, and also on the left as well, which really do help the DeathAdder V2's comfort levels. Now, unlike its predecessor, the DeathAdder V2 only weighs 82 grams compared to the DeathAdder Elite's 105, which makes it lighter than first anticipated, ensuring less wrist fatigue and easier movements across the desk. Now, these 8 programmable mouse buttons are both tactile and well made, featuring adjustable DPI levels, left and right mouse buttons, 2 mouse buttons on the side, and also the 2 that are on the bottom. When it comes to design, the DeathAdder V2 is a rather timeless piece of design. These sturdy hard plastics help to constitute that perfect ergonomic shape, and moreover these rubber side grips present on the right and left hand side of the mouse help to exude some absolutely fantastic feelings when used in hand. Now, the DeathAdder V2, unlike the last revision, the DeathAdder Elite, weighs under 100 grams at a weight of 82 grams, comparing to the DeathAdder Elite's 105. This means that this one's lighter and also narrower than first anticipated, ensuring less wrist fatigue and a perfect experience when gaming or using this day-to-day in offices. Now, the 8 programmable buttons are both tactile and well made, ranging from these left and right mouse buttons, 2 on the left-hand side, the scroll wheel, the 2 adjustable DPIs on the top middle of the mouse, and the one on the bottom used to switch between the 5 onboard profiles that can be configurable through Synapse 3. Razer also makes something on the box of their SpeedFlex cable, which is certainly a rather long cable, and also offers this ascertained degree of freedom despite being a wired mouse. It's certainly fair to say that the DeathAdder V2 features a fantastic gliding ability and unparalleled smooth control. In terms of performance, as mentioned on the box too, the DeathAdder V2 features the Razer's Focus Plus sensor with a DPI of 20,000 acting as this mouse's standout features. This obviously works brilliantly when gaming with some razor sharp accuracy in anything from CSGO to Portal 2. And again, the adjustable DPI that's present here also helps to make this a brilliant office mouse as well. It's also rather subtle, with only 2 lighting zones. Now, Razer's mouse switches here are optical that work with light beams rather than traditional mechanisms, meaning your clicks are even faster and the durability is also increased. Compared to the DeathAdder Elite's 50 million kind of actuations thanks to Omron mechanical switches, Razer's optical ones are good for a whole 20 million more at 70 million, making this more reliable and obviously more durable than its predecessors. Razer's all-new DeathAdder V2 works in conjunction with their all-new Synapse 3 software. To start us off, and even on its own without the software, the DeathAdder V2 certainly excels with backlighting as always with Razer's products, despite there only being 2 lighting zones. It's certainly fair to say that it's rather crisp. Now, Synapse 3 certainly offers unlimited possibilities for customization, and these 8 programmable buttons that the DeathAdder V2 features can be configured until your heart's content. So you can take one of these mouse buttons on the side and change it through all manner of functions, through keyboard functions, mouse functions, changing DPI sensitivity, offering a sensitivity clutch and stage down, on-the-fly changes, and cycling through them as well. macros, inter-device functions between two Synapse enabled products, so keyboard and mouse for instance. We can switch between profiles, switch lighting, use the hypershift function that doubles practically the button tally to 16. You just hold that down and it opens up an entirely new layer of customization. There's also the ability to launch programs, multimedia controls such as volume down, play, pause, mute the microphone, mute everything, those sorts of things. Windows shortcuts such as launching the calculator, showing the desktop, launching the task manager, as well as text functions and disabling the buttons as well. In the performance tab, there's also the ability to customize the DPI and the amount of stages from anything from 2 through 5. So, for instance, if you wanted to change this stage 4 to anything from 10,000 to 100 to 20,000, say you wanted it to be really precise and be 6,350, well, you can have that. It's that simple. You can also change the polling rate and the mouse properties that offers a shortcut to Windows' own mouse properties. Lighting on the DeathAdder V2, as we've said before, is chroma enabled, and within Synapse you can change its brightness when it decides to idle, so when your display is turned off or when, I suppose, the computer is idle for anything from 1 to 15 minutes. Now, there are two options when it comes to the effects, so we can have the standard presets, such as the audio meter, breathing, reactive, spectrum cycling, and static, which offers pretty much any colour you want from a major selection, including, red, green, blue, those all sorts. And also there's custom colours as well. There's the advanced effects that can be configured in Chroma Studio, offering an entirely new level of customization. Now, Synapse also features the ability to calibrate your mouse mat, so you can be even more precise when tracking it and when using it in gaming. Another thing that Synapse kind of prides itself on is its additional features. So there's the ability to use it with the Philips Hue lighting system, taking your RGB beyond your office or bedroom where the DeathAdder V2 may happen to be. And it seems that they're also jumping on the bandwagon with Logitech and their G-Hub software with kind of off-the-wall wacky presets like an audio visualizer that allows the DeathAdder V2 to kind of control your audio that's on built. So if you're listening to something with a kind of a thumping bass line or a mental drum solo, then the DeathAdder V2 and the Chroma Visualizer will do its best to keep up. But it's certainly fair to say that the DeathAdder V2's lighting and software excel itself greatly at this price. So, in conclusion then, what are our thoughts on the DeathAdder V2? Now, this new revision of the DeathAdder is certainly worth a pickup with its fabulous new sensor and the timeless design that combines for one of the best performing wired gaming mice at this price point. And it's perfect for those that are already invested in the Razer ecosystem, or for people looking to upgrade their gaming setup with something from a brand that they know and love. There is, however, plenty of competition. It's worth noting that some of Razer's own offerings, such as the Viper, are also around this price, so it's a bit of a toss-up between the two, as well as some of Logitech's own, like that G502 with their additional weights. It really depends on what feels comfortable with you in terms of both DPI and price, but as always, if you like what you see here, we'll leave links to the DeathAdder V2 on Amazon down below. And all that remains for us to say is to like, subscribe, share this wherever you can, and support the blog and channel in any way you wish.